Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We've got an exciting night for you here at the CCL. I'm your host, OG Susano, joined by the lovely Mick. Mick, how you doing?
I am doing out freaking standing, man. I don't know if there's any other way to put it. I mean, we're right back here on CCL. You know what it is. It's Mondays and Tuesdays. It's colleges and it's COD. You can't ask for any more, honestly. And especially looking at the two teams we got lined up tonight, getting into split two, especially knowing that's now the second week of this stage. I mean, this is where things get hectic. This is where things get really close. So it makes it that much more exciting to watch overall.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of things going down tonight. A lot of things to be on stake for as we get more and more towards that LCQ. But we've got Brock Bandits from Brock University going up against New Haven Chargers from the University of New Haven. Let's get to our head-to-head because it's going to be an exciting one indeed with the records that we've seen so far. Boy, oh boy, Mick, why don't you break it down for us?
I mean, overall, great standings from these teams knowing their entire season record. I mean, 9-3, 9-2. We are dealing with some top dogs right here. And I mean, I can't really put it any other way, but I mean, you got to look at the stats. You got to break things down into the maps and the modes, but more specifically. And at least then, let on the modes, we got it right in front of our face. You got hard point win-loss ratio for old Brock. We sit at 12-5, but for Haven, 18-3. I mean, I can't understate that anymore. It's not allowed. It's illegal, right? You can't have something like that. But even then, but we're not even done yet. We got to get on to search and destroy. Brock, I was sitting at 5-5 in search and destroy. Pretty solid. You know, you're going ahead and buffing yourself out. Over in New Haven saying, no, we're doubling it up. 9-5. One more map and win, and we get ourselves double the ratio when it comes down to win-loss on this search and destroy. So outstanding across the board for the squad. And then in control, looking at 4-2 and 3-5. So New Haven, looking outstanding across the board. A little lackluster in that control, though, I want to say. So I want to see him go ahead and step it up tonight, and even then Brock to go ahead and bring some competition on those other two modes. But let's go and look at the rosters. Look at the players we got dealing with on both these sides, obviously, because that's going to be who's at the head of these stats that were being provided thus far. And for Brock Bandits, we got ourselves Wonders, Records, Cool Tucks, and Chief Keef. I knew something like that was going to happen. But, you know, talking about these players, I mean, obviously, some absolute slayers across the board. Outstanding records from all of them. I mean, just everything. Obviously, when you see the stats from them, they're going to be pretty good. They just got to have the players to back it up, and they're here as well to wake up and be ready to fight.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting time. And, yeah, this is actually Chief Keef's debut night here in the CCL. So it's going to be a lot on. Let's look at our away roster for the New Haven Chargers because we've got some players that have been here for quite a bit, and I'm excited to bring it in. We've got Relu, PBR, Shadow, Zin. Gotta love Zin. So we're going to have a lot of fun with these guys from the University of New Haven. And honestly, you know, when we were talking about that head-to-head here, Mick, I think the biggest differentiator is going to have to be that control.
It most definitely will be. And another differentiating factor is going to be your brain, dude. You said PBR. Your mind is somewhere else right now. That's BPR, my guy.
BPR, my guy.
I get it. It's college call. We're trying to buy into the demographic here, but we got to straighten things up. We're in a professional environment. So, obviously, all jokes and things aside, we got to sit there and discuss these two teams, what exactly they got to provide. I kind of like the point you mentioned, talking about control, talking about how we have to see the Brock Bandits step things up and really go ahead and set the differentiating factor there. Knowing what they got laid out for them, knowing how to be playing this entirety of the game. I mean, they're fighting for rights here. I mean, Brock Bandits, they are now sitting towards the bottom of the barrel when it comes around to this stage 2 thus far. Meanwhile, we see New Haven actually able to go ahead and fight with the rest of the Titans that is within this division thus far. Sitting themselves at 1-2, and then Brock sitting at 0-2 right now. They have to find themselves a win to have any kind of relevancy within this second stage if they want to move themselves on.
Exactly. And talking about relevancy, you know, the maps for tonight are definitely going to be an interesting one. Let's roll those in real quick because it is going to be a great one, in my opinion, because we've got Berlin to start off in Hardpoint. Then we've got Berlin Search and Destroy. Then we head over to my favorite playground right now in Control at Tuscan, and then Hardpoint in Tuscan. And then if we do get towards map 5, well, we'll have a Search and Destroy on Bocage. It's going to be an exciting night, Mick, and with both of these maps being, in my honest opinion, true neutrals when it comes to team setups, I'm excited to see which team's going to have the better setup here.
I mean, most definitely. I mean, we sit there and talk about momentum a lot on the desk, but knowing that we're getting double up maps, we're getting a double single. I mean, that's not only a filling for Call of Duty, but if you sit there and say that in a McDonald's line, you're going to get your filling for dinner as well. I mean, this is just an outstanding lineup looking at what teams have to provide. knowing if we do get around to that map 4. Map 5, I feel like obviously this could be the perfect differentiating factor, knowing that say if we do get a team going off on Berlin, then we, with those long engagements and long lines of sight, then we get the other side who's really just slaying out with those SMGs, getting aggressive on Tuscan. They can compensate those 2 rounds right then and there on those maps. Bocage is where it really just goes ahead and everything is thrown out the window. It comes down to whether or not you can make these adjustments. The pressure's going to be on both sides. All these teams are going to be sitting there and saying, what adjustments do we have to make? What can we do to switch things up? How can we get the leading factor here to really give us this dub? That's going to be the most stressful thing for both of them. But honestly, as us as an audience and casters, it's going to be the most exciting thing if we do get around to it.
Yeah, hopefully we do. But talking about a little bit more about Berlin, when it comes down to the setups, the ARs and the snipers are a big factor when it comes to the search and destroy. But really, I'm going to talk about, that momentum he said. We love to talk about it. Whoever's going to come out this map 1 is definitely going to lead us into a very strong map 2. And you know how we talked about control being that differentiator? Well, we'll be hopping to Tuscan, where, in my opinion, is where it becomes the most balanced overall for either side. No side really having too much of an advantage over the other. And with it being such a big differentiator, with New Haven being such a great respawn team, we'll have to see who's going to come out on top on that third map.
Yeah, and even then, I mean, Tuscan, I feel like New Haven could definitely have themselves some kind of a run here. We sat there talking about their control win-loss ratio. We sit there and see Tuscan, the lineup, and how good they are when it comes around to respawns. I mean, they have the potential to come back and bounce back on control. Problem is, we have to see Brock really step up, win those first 2 rounds, really set a tone for the entire thing. And honestly, it all comes down to whether or not their ARs can really slay out. Because honestly, I mean, Berlin, that is the perfect start for them. You have so much area, you have such a large canvas to go ahead and buff out those mistakes if you do find them, that sure, they're that much more detrimental if you mess up. But if they start first here and they start aggressive and they start really, really well, they can go ahead and put the opposing side into the same shoes. They can make New Haven run 1.5 miles to get themselves on the side. When it comes down to search and destroy, they can go ahead, find a kill, and isolate the entire map, and then sit there and say, we now have numbers, we can trade, we can get an easy defuse or an easy plant, whatever it comes down to. This is the perfect opportunity to go ahead and start strong and really capitalize on it as they get somewhat of a flow to really buy into.
I definitely agree there with the search and destroy. It's going to be an interesting one indeed. Now let's hop into this Berlin hard point. Both sides coming in strong and fast for this P1. You can already see right now Zin throwing the preemptive nades, make sure nobody's on the flank, and we have a bit of a fight towards the back line. Wonders immediately tagging up Zin, and the stun not going to be in his favor, but he will be able to get that player off of the stairs, and well, that's going to give him a bit of cover for now.
Yeah, regardless of the stun, you still find yourself some time onto the board. You can go ahead and get that contested down, and you had the backup shadow to go ahead and create some time for yourself. As New Haven, they have themselves a pretty good start thus far. Sure, it's only 11 seconds on the board, but with only 27 remaining now to go ahead and get those rotations out, you can see that New Haven is absolutely slaying out. So great start from them, a great little bit of aggression to really back themselves up and create somewhat of a statement right now. But as Brock is picking up this I'd say rear kind of scrap time that we get onto the board so far, New Haven is now going to be looking at the rotations. They know they've gone ahead. They've cut their losses. They said no matter what, we have the lead to go ahead and get that differential. But looking at Brock in the setup, they're already found themselves in the middle. This is a huge war of attrition right now who can really go ahead and get these spawns while holding themselves aside. And it looks like New Haven with those initial 2 kills can really set the tone here.
Yeah, and with the way that the Brock Bandits were able to get a bit of that scrap, it did put them at a little bit of advantage. But when it comes to the rotation, New Haven Chargers sticking true to their name, just being lightning fast. They get to the hill. Right now, Records holding the back line, trying to find one player, but Cool Tux, very nicely done, gets 1 kill. But Chief Keef comes in from the old hill, able to help out. And, well, now you have the Brock Bandits back in charge. But as I say that, we already see a bit of a pinch formulating from the side of New Haven.
And a good crosser from the likes of Brock Bandits to go ahead and hold out this P2 so far. I mean, looking outstanding, go ahead and get themselves a lead as well. Only really giving New Haven themselves, I'd say, what, 10 seconds? I mean, to go ahead and switch up that ratio, double down now and find yourself with only 17 remaining. I mean, you were picking up the majority of this hill. And when you die right there, if you're Chief Keef, you're saying, look, I've already accumulated 39 seconds in this game. I'm obviously the point man. I'm doing my job thus far, and we have ourselves a lead. Let's keep on running away with this. What player's going to go ahead and find these spawns? How are we going to set up for this next one? Well, first, we need to breach into the site. We need to go ahead, find a little bit of a flank onto the Chargers, and you can already see it there. Records, Chief, and Cool Tux all get themselves a respective kills. They completely wipe things out and find themselves the next side as well.
You know, the great thing I want to highlight there is not only did they work as a team, but they immediately hopped into the spawns, and that pushed these players back to P1.
Yep.
So now you're going to have a bit of a lateral movement from the side of New Haven. But they're going to be really trying hard to break in through that middle fire that we saw Cool Tux and Co did. And, well, when you play from the playbook of your enemies, they know exactly what they're doing, and that's going to be a nice 3-for-1 trade.
Yeah, and even then right there, Records just holding down this corner. Everybody's taking turns here. I mean, we saw Chief Keef obviously be that main point man there for the longest time, but now you sit there and get the differential. You go ahead and get the trade out. You say, Records, now is your turn. Sure, you're the last man standing as Cool Tuck's going ahead, having the frags on the outside, finding 3 kills there. Just going ahead, slaying all the way through, picking up Shadow as well for a 4K now, but I mean, and having that 5 streak is even more important there for Records. He does get it shut down, but I mean, all things considered, you know that you've grabbed yourself so much time. You've now doubled the likes of the New Haven Chargers, and more importantly, this is a money hill coming up. This is a huge cash grab if anybody can find themselves a first touch. And there's Brock just lingering on the edge, playing like a rat, finding that little bit of time, and they have the spawns as well. So this is going to be a huge factor for them as they already lead themselves up to 100.
Yeah, if you didn't know, viewers at home, spawns are the key to winning these hard points. And, well, when you have a player like Cool Tux and Records just making plays and Wonders as well, anchoring, it's going to be an easier job for you. And you see right now, immediately, New Haven finally get a bit of some luck on the hill. BPR. There you go. Got it right this time, Mick. But, you know, going to have a bit of a harder time as they get a short break. But Brock Bandits back on the hill.
Yeah, and even then looking at the likes of Brock Bandits, they're just completely slaying out as well. I mean, knowing that they had themselves spawns, they had the site, they had so many things under control at the same time, just going ahead, being completely coordinated to hold down the site. It's super impressive. I mean, looking at the record, as it seems right now, if you didn't see the numbers and you're just now joining us, I'm not going to go ahead and even tell you what Brock Bandits' win-loss ratio is on hardpoint because you're going to think they're flawless the way they're playing thus far. Sitting at 122 to 59 against New Haven. You sit there and see every single player slaying out. Not Wonders as much, I would say, but still he's looking to kind of trade off where he can. Maybe working for spawns, that's your guy, but as Cool Tux, he's definitely your guy for these kills. Jeez. Finding a 3K right there, he is a problem. He's a man on both fronts, and he can go ahead and switch up to the AR as well to go ahead and get that long range. So the guy is covering every single corner, checking every single box, making sure that attendance is accounted for, and everybody's in class learning that he's the killer here.
Yeah, and he's just flexing out right now, automaton in hand. You saw him use the MP40 here earlier, but, well, when you have players that aren't responsive like Shadow, hey, you can take advantage of that. Now, the hill, once again, being for the side of Brock Bandits, just absolutely slaying out. You have Wonders, who's having a bit of a slower game, but, hey, he's been working the routes and he's been anchoring. So, you know, what you don't see on paper, you see in the put-in. And right now, Chief Keef, very nicely done, helps out with the shots onto the site. We get back towards P1 here pretty soon, and well, when you look at Chief Keef, 17-7, the debut has been successful so far.
Most definitely has. You can already see the rotations coming through. All the players are going to go ahead and for this next side. I mean, getting onto that P4. I mean, it's set up so far. I mean, you want to find yourself just somewhat of a holding ground right there on the reset. I mean, and as it looks so far, I mean, Shadow is in, obviously having the hold. They found themselves a pretty strong P1, but problem is you can't rely on that. You can't sit there and have one good hill. You have to have multiple because as we see the ratio so far, Brock Bandits is definitely winning in that front, finding a lot more points, setting up themselves a really good cross everywhere on the map. Even right there, Chief Keef, sure, he grabbed himself the shot. You can see right across the way. You got all Wonders behind. Everybody is doing their job right now, and they are looking out freaking standing as two other players also have totally accumulated more than a minute so far. And Chief Keef's looking for a minute 30 as everybody else is still just doing their work, grabbing these kills and creating that space for them.
You know, as casters, we love to see this type of gameplay, Mick, when every player doing their job, doing the homework, getting the job done, and it's beautiful to see. It's just like a well-oiled machine, and well, the Brock Bandits, they know how to rock it, and right now, New Haven feels like it's been a drowning effort for them, having a bit of a hard time with these hills. Get a bit of some luck at P1, but when you have Cool Tux running the damage control, he's not going to let anything slide. Shadow hops onto the point. Got a bit of a fight here towards the stairs, and well, Chief Keef's not going to win that one, and this beginning of this hill getting a bit mixy.
And even then, already, we see Brock just not really having the same formulations that they had earlier. Going ahead, setting up these crosses, waiting for their teammates. I mean, we saw it earlier. Even then, for a second, Chief backed up, said, look, I don't have a player here to back me up. I don't have a teammate here to go ahead and get this crossfire goal, make it a 2v1. That's exactly what New Haven's doing now. They found themselves control of the site. They're kind of weaving in and out, but as they finally do get reset, and you see Brock going ahead and able to reset things. More importantly, Records, who's doing the majority of that work in that clear. You can see the return come out now. Everybody's got themselves the spawns to set up. You go ahead, you make things look a lot more even. Problem is, there's only 18 seconds left on the clock. Records is still going to do his thing, though. Regardless of how much time is on the clock, he knows his job is killing, and he's doing exactly that. Now sitting at 22-9, the man is a menace, not a villain.
Yeah, he's just rocking it right now. And once again, like I said, Wonders, look at him. Already on that rotation. You wouldn't believe that with a 3-4 record, but the guy's making the plays. He's making the dirty work. And, well, as casters, it's our job to highlight it. So, very much well done to Wonders. And Zin's going to be fighting towards the coastline here, or towards the port. But Records, once again, just outmaneuvers. Gets it done. Calls in the bomb from heaven. Glide bomb coming down. Sees the players. Goes for the bomb, but not going to be able to get it. But the information has been given, so not all is lost for the side of the Brock Bandits.
And even look at the setup from them. One player on site, the rest of them spread out closer to spawn. Make sure to go ahead and give that coverage. I mean, you still have a cross setup for every single one of them. So this is an outstanding hold from New Haven. Problem is, Brock is just a little bit better when it comes around to slaying. They found themselves an easy break. They go ahead, get themselves the last 20 seconds here, and they're not even really scratched up about this. They're not saying, sure, we're grabbing spare time, scratch time. New Haven is still extremely concerned about that scrap time, knowing that you're sitting now at 240 to 133, 123. I mean, that is a huge problem for New Haven. They have to play darn near pitch perfect, hard point as it stands right now. And as they go ahead and get a little bit of a wipe there, reset those spawns, problem is you still got Brock right here on this money hill. If you're going to come back, you need to hold this out. You can't let the approach come from the left side of the map. You can't look at this, the middle. Go ahead and be concerned about these spawns. If you find the kills and you can surround them and keep on fighting back towards your spawn, you're going to be completely fine as it stands. And you can even see the setup from New Haven, able to go ahead and get these trades, play off with each other, find those initial shots. So there's Chief Keef on the back, able to go ahead and clear out most of these players, but with the spawns coming through, 2 are down, 2 are out, and 2 are now pushing onto site. So it doesn't let them grab too much, but they only need 3.
And you see only 3 seconds needed, and well, Records, he's still rocking it in the back. It's 5 kill spree. Zen moving in, looks for 1, sees the back line has been infiltrated. Oh my goodness, once again, the automaton ammo just taking another victim.
Oh
Wonders gonna hop onto the side, and well, there you go. Brock Bandits very dominantly take the first map. This has been absolutely insane. Literally a 101 point differential. That is absolutely crazy, especially on a map like Berlin.
It's outstanding. I mean, we sat there and mentioned it earlier for the likes of Brock, who really isn't as high of a standing as New Haven thus far. And I'll go ahead and spoil everything. Brock is in a lower standing than New Haven right now, but from this record, from these teams, from this stat board alone, sure, Wonders wasn't really going ahead and pulling off all the most wonderful things in the world, but you can see the rest of the team compensating for it. Chief Keef sitting at 32 and 17. Not very many streaks going on with the 4, but he was getting aggressive every single time, holding down that time on the hill, going ahead and accumulating that, making sure that they can find themselves a stance. But we got to talk about records. Sure, he had second in kills, 28 and 10, but 24 non-traded kills, had a 7 streak, had multiple 5 streaks, and 12 objective kills, and accumulating a minute 54 as well. This guy was a problem, and when it comes around to hard point, you have to check him next time.
Yeah, I know exactly. When it comes down to just who you're, wanting to single out in ISO, well, New Haven now know their #1 target. It's going to be Records, but immediately with him as well is Chief Keef. His sub work was absolutely insane. You saw in the P1, not only was the man's making plays, getting players out of the back line, but he was just such an influential player when it came to those close quarter chows. And you got to make sure that if you're going to hop in the hill, take a buddy with you, because Chief Keef, well, he's cooking right now, and you're on the menu.
Yeah, I mean, even then, you got to sit there and worry about the guy overall. I mean, everything standing for Brock University thus far is looking good. When we sat there and said to get yourself into the game, you got to start explosive. You have to sit there and get this map won. You have to show that you can go ahead and beat New Haven, not only in hardpoint, but sit there and knowing it's a double-double, that you're going right back to Berlin and you dominate it in such a massive fashion. That looks outstanding for Search and Destroy. Knowing that not only, it's not like you're sitting there dying so many times, you're getting all these trades like Chief Keef where you're sitting there maintaining things. You're not playing your own life 1-for-1, but seeing all those streaks come out, them slay constantly over and over again, super repetitive, just so many multiple kills to be going off of, and their breaches looking so good. If you translate that to Search and Destroy, if you can sit there and say, we hit a site the same when we did that, we found ourselves the crosses like we did when we were playing defense, literally, I'd say probably a flawless S&D here. But I don't think this can be the case. New Haven know they have to fight for something. They know they have a reputation on the line. Everybody's looking to get right back into that top half here in the split. So they're going to fight back, but it just all comes down to how hard.
You really want to be confident at the end of the day, and well, Brock Bandits, they were just right off the bat. You did see a bit of some light from New Haven in that P1, but immediately Brock Bandits, once they got a grip, they knew what they were doing, and well, New Haven after that were just rank and file, just throwing lives at the hill, and you saw a bit of a better setup towards P5 at the end of that last set of rotations. And look, I know we talked about Records and co, but we got to talk about Wonders, man. The man was doing great, holding down spawns, anchoring. It's just great when you see a teammate like that doing the work that nobody really thanks. And I personally want to thank him because, back when I was playing, I was that player. I made sure that my teammates had a spawn. So, once again, congratulations to Wonders. Let's talk about the map here for this next one, because we're going to be going into Berlin Search and Destroy after a very dominant 250 to 149 HP in Berlin. we'll still be staying in the same location as Berlin, but now we're switching the mode to search and destroy.
So the game is slowing down, is what I'm hearing more importantly.
Yeah.
You sit there, find yourself going to search and destroy. You know you only have one life to play with. We sat there and saw Chief Keef trading on so many different occasions. We saw really records just going off, finding all these kills. Wonders not really able to find this life, not able to really play his too much and trade off when he needs to. So, I mean, if I'm sitting at Brock Bandits right now, I'm saying, look, if you sat there and didn't really contribute as much when it comes around to the killing department, you need to slow down. Don't get aggressive. Let the SMG players do that. Let us play these close corners. Let us go ahead and hit this A side. Let your ARs, let Records go ahead and hold down the B side. Bias lonesome, and he can probably give the call and know when to get out and when he should find these trades that become relevant and really become this differential for the team. So, I mean, on the other side, though, we sit there talk about Brock so much because of how good they looked on that first map. Thing is, we have to discuss New Haven. We need to sit there and figure out what exactly they can do to get back into this fight, find this first map, and I think it all comes down to playing slow, working up the middle of the map, not sitting there getting too aggressive towards a site because you didn't have the best breaches when it came around at hardpoint. Thankfully, you're playing the same map. You know how that translates here. You need to sit there and figure out an alternative avenue and figure out how to manipulate the other side.
Yeah, I love how you said that they need to play very slow and methodical, because we saw exactly what happened in that hardpoint when they were just getting absolutely just speed from the side of Brock Bandits. My goodness, you got to be able to like take a step back, breathe. Hey, we're down. Let's try to work together. But instead, they were just throwing themselves out there. So in this one, I hope that the team comp and the team chemistry really starts to shine as we head toward this slower environment. This is the right time to use this X factor into the equation.
Yeah, most definitely is. So as we go ahead and get ourselves right into this first round, we're going to see where the hit's going to come from. And we see New Haven already going ahead, looking to rush it right on the Brock Bandits. And we sat there, mentioned it earlier, playing the game slow and steady is going to be your key to success. They went ahead and completely threw that out of the window. Yeah. 3 of their players got wiped out, and then saying, good God, I'm by myself. How do I go ahead and pull this out? So we got to watch it. We got to see what plays he can make. He goes ahead and gets a read on Chief Keef, and in the blink of an eye, you already find Brock Bandits winning their first round here on the defense. So once again, aggression, obviously not their strong suit. Let's start making some adjustments, figuring out, hey, we still got plenty of rounds left on the board. Let's not do that again.
Exactly. And you also got to think, when they broke into that site, not only was it fast and aggressive, they were looking at each other when they rushed in.
Thank you.
You're not looking at the proper angles. There are going to be players playing towards that right window. You got to be able to just tell your teammates, hey, you look left, I look right. Instead, it was, hey, what's up? You got to figure this out beforehand. Yeah,
good job,
you're
buddy. You did good on that hard point. We bring it back right here. Problem is, you get domed right in your ear hole, and next thing you know, you don't find yourself another round, which you're looking for. So Brock being a lot more methodical right here, able to go ahead and breach this side, setting up the crosses.
Oh my
you find yourself a 2-for-1 exchange. Is that kind of a problem as Shadow gets the line up there and finds 2 kills? But still, you find the trade across the map. Records is doing his job once again, and Cool Tux finds a very ratty angle onto the likes of Carnage. So once again, now in a 2v1 scenario, as Brock is trying to go ahead and get this bomb down, see if they can find a post plant, really set things up for it, as Zen is once again the last player standing.
Yeah, and in a 2v3 scenario, you have the numbers. Play together, work it out. Instead, each single player on that side from New Haven, they have that great advantage. Shadow made the opportunity. But when you're not working together and you ISO, it's just going to be a problem, because then the 2v3, well, feels more like a collective 1v1s. And when you have great slayers on the side of Brock Bandits, my goodness, they just know how to rock it.
Yeah, and even then, looking at the standings thus far, you can already see Shadow being the only player on the side of New Haven right now with kills. And that was because 2 of them came from that last round when we saw Brock line up. So once again, with New Haven being on the attacking side, opting for a different approach right now. Be a lot more open, a lot more slow, where you're forced to play. I want to see exactly what kind of approach they bring to the table this time. Problem is, they already got traded at least 1.
Yeah, we had a nice little trade-off towards the port there on the side of B, but bomb is still going to be in the hands of Zin. You're going to see Shadow get taken down by Chief Keef, and, well, it's time for Zin to pull up here and really help out the team. It's a 2v3, but if you look at more or less at the map, you can definitely see a much more unified effort from the side of the Bandits.
And very, very unified is what it comes down to. As you can already see, Brock Bandits, they're sitting themselves at 3-0 when it comes around to lives remaining. And that's going to be a 3-0 on the scoreboard, as well, as they find themselves a defuse on this bomb thus far. And I mean, they sit there and they work around the game. They sit there and know their roles. They know how to play it. they go ahead and find the setups and they find ways to counter it, saying, look, that timer is still on the board. Bomb got dropped. It's not going down. We haven't seen anything. If you're playing the opposing side of the map, you played aggressive towards A. You found yourself these close angles. You now have that hold. We have the call towards B. Find a flank, shut down their AR, make sure he can't play the game anymore, and that's exactly what we saw them do. Methodical, just collected and calm at the same time to go ahead and make these calls, make these plays, and just go ahead and be an outstanding squad when we look at it. So maybe again, once now on the attacking side, we see him going ahead getting a little bit aggressive, but once again playing as slow as they need to. But still, Shadow actually finds the first kill this time around.
And well, Shadow's able to run away for his life, so the information has been given. But as you can see from the side of New Haven, well, they decide to pick a perimeter line, call that the Maginot line, if you will. And hopefully it's as effective, but we will have to see right now as the bomb does go down. Chief Keef does get it. And well, now you have these players able to just sit back, relax a bit, wait for the players to be overzealous, because we know definitely that the side of Brock will not overextend in these type of scenarios.
Yeah, most definitely not. And you guys sit there and look at the post plant right now from Brock. I mean, every single player kind of scattered about, and you have that one outlier. You have Records, the huge Slayer right now, looking to continue his streak, trying to play passive, trying to find these kills, and that's exactly what he does. He finds himself a fourth. You got to look through the window, though, because Shadow with an outstanding little mouth there. I mean, you got to sit there. You have to worry about this. There's 13 seconds left. They're just running about. They don't care about the bomb anymore. They're trying to set up for a cross. They know they've lost a teammate. They know they have the kills, the angles, and the round as well. I mean, Brock looking so freaking good right now. We really just can't underestimate this. Now in a 4-0 game, New Haven trying to play so methodical, they just can't do it. They have so much energy rushing through them right now as we do that they just can't slow down in the game to sit there and figure out what is going wrong. And quite honestly, I can't tell them either because we've given them suggestions, but they just don't want to take them.
Like we got to hop in the coach's box, Mick. We got to get in there. We got to show these guys what's going on, man, because each and every round it feels like there's just one huge problem and they're not able to overcome it. And well, Brock Bandits, they're very opportunistic. They know when to see a chink in the armor or any type of break, and well, you're going to see immediately right now there's a bit of a line set up here towards the map, and the Brock Bandits, well, they will be holding it. A nice nade from Wonders.
Oh my
that's going to
God.
stop the bomb planner, and that's just crazy because now you're going to have to try and get the bomb back. Zen able to pick off Wonders now in a 3v2.
And once again, now in a 3v2, this is New Haven. This is the first time they've had themselves a player advantage, and they can go ahead and have some time to breathe with it as well. We've seen every single time they had a player advantage, and it was only one round. Right there, round two, they had it, but they lost it so instantaneously because the only two players remaining from Brock Bandits, they still played for crosses. Problem is, this time around, you don't have that. Chief Keef rushes right on the site, finds himself getting gunned down, knowing that New Haven has the advantage here. So it's all down to the MVP thus far of Brock Bandits. Records, going ahead, clearing corners, saying, is there anybody in the flank towards A? Nobody's around here. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to save for streaks because I'm sitting at 5-0 and I can't risk this at all.
Exactly, and this is the smart play in a 1v3 scenario. As much as you want to try and be final and just deny these players their fun, but hey, it's going to be feeling a lot better when you have streaks the next rounds, and that's how you close out the game. But very smart play out of him. He's going to be staying back. New Haven will finally get their first round after a 4-round domination from the side of the Brock Bandits.
I guarantee you right now, Brock, they're sitting there on their headset saying, if you go for it, you win that. You win that, bro. You're absolutely going off right now.
100%.
If anybody was going to try and pull that off, I wanted it to be Records because you know darn well he would have at least managed to and probably gotten streaks anyways. But I understand the safe play there. I like it for Brock. They know they're ahead. They're not really willing to take too many sacrifices. They're playing for the bigger picture right now, and that's been a consistent factor of them in their entire game plan thus far. They've gone ahead, and they've been slow, methodical, thinking about what kind of trade-offs, what punishments, and how heavy they really are in the long scheme of things. So as you see now another round coming out, you see them on the attacking side, we have to see their approach and how much different it is from the likes of New Haven, who find themselves falling a little bit too quickly on it.
Yeah, that's what I love about them. They're just not overzealous. They know their limits and their boundaries, and we're going to see this bit of a fight for control here at A, but there's not going to be much resistance. Outer, though, there will be, and, well, Cool Tux, he baits it, gets the information, knows that there are players there. So they will just be playing that information, throws out the nade, not going to be able to tag anyone up, and, well, this is kind of a logistical error from the side of New Haven. Once they had that info, hey, man up and, well, get the numbers up, and there you go. Shadow's going to get that first kill, and, well, now it's a 3v4, and we've seen Brock Bandits in this situation, so they're looking pretty comfortable.
Ooh, and even everybody checking a little bit too many corners. Problem is, you don't check enough if you're in there in the back in records. You go ahead, you play passive the entire game, you find yourself a 5-streak, and then get shut down by a flank from Zen, the guy who was alive at so many occasions. But we're talking about a new player who has a streak on their hands. It's going to be the likes of Shadow. It's now sitting on a 4, going 8-4 in this entirety of it. He's going ahead and carrying a lot of the weight that his team is kind of lacking to go ahead and differentiate there and go ahead and alleviate the attention. But, I mean, New Haven grabbing their second round now in a row. I mean, we got to sit there and consider now for Brock. It's not really falling apart for him just yet, but when you go ahead and give your opposing side a little bit of a taste of victory, it shows how much they want themselves some more. You give them one round because you don't attempt for it. And problem is afterwards, if you sit there and get that one round, we see New Haven stepping up saying, look, I want more. I want a second, maybe a third, maybe a fourth. And then maybe once thing you know, Brock will find themselves a fifth and we could go to a round 11.
Exactly. When you get a taste of victory, you want it all. And, well, right now, New Haven, they enter the dagger round 2-4. And, well, you're going to see right now there's going to be a bit of a, a bit of an overextension battle waiting for anyone from the side of A to just throw the shoulder out a little too much, maybe wide peak one of these players. And well, we're going to hop in with Carnage right now as he's hanging out towards B. Wonders he's going to be able to find him, tags him up. Information's given. They know that this is going to be an A play now. And, well, BPR gets some shots in. Cool Tux comes in. And Shadow, gets the second.
Yeah, that's a good exchange there for the likes of New Haven. You can see him going ahead and getting full control of this A site. You can see the cross on the map as well. You got the setup in the middle. Once again, finally taking a note out of Brock's book, saying, look, we need to play for flanks. We need to play for crosses. We have to sit there and work as a team. We can't be very one-dimensional and sit there and say, let's set up for defense, go ahead, stand behind the bomb, and be predictable. Finally making the adjustments needed, coming out on top, really making themselves a statement right now. And it all comes down to whether or not they can really follow through with this. Because now sitting at a 3-4 game, New Haven is looking a lot better because this is their third in a row to answer Brock's 4 in a row. So it really shows kind of the importance of momentum here, how far that could take you, how important that is to really follow through with this. We see him once again right on the attacking side. Records needs to make these adjustments as well. Say, I need to check for flanks. Zen may come around. You can already see the setup as Cool Tux finds that first frag closer to the site, and you say, we probably have control of A now.
Yeah, A site is going to be a bit of a fight, but Shadow, this is what I was going to try and say earlier, but he's been keeping himself alive a lot better than he was in those first 4 rounds. And clearly, it's been a great impact for his team. Wonders get some shots in, but Carter's going to be able to get him from the back. 2-2 now. Keith now waiting towards the bomb, but throws his life away by wide peeking a corner. And Carnage is going to take advantage of that. And, well, if you want a player in this situation, Mick, it's going to be Records.
Most definitely is. I mean, sat there last time we witnessed, he said, look, I'm going to go ahead and play a little bit back. Well, you don't have a streak anymore, buddy. Let's go ahead and give this a shot. Let's grab that bomb. Let's get that plant. Let's get some kills to back it up, too. Add a little bit of a cherry on top as you go ahead and see him kind of lapping around the map, looking for an outside play, seeing for some kind of a flank, but he's got to check every single corner. He goes ahead, gets eyes on the likes of Carter, can find that first kill with only 20 seconds remaining. He has to make the push on the side. He has to read the corners. He gets shot from the left and realizes, okay, another player may be over towards there, but this is only a one-on-one. It's him and Shadow. He's trying to figure out where that came from. He wants to get the read. He wants to get the plan down, but with Shadow on the edge, you see the 1v1 against the top frags and Shadow going ahead and striking from the shadows.
That was absolutely insane because not only did he just wait, he bided his time. He knew the moment that that announcer gave the call out, the bomb has been picked up. He saw there was 16 seconds left. So when you're in that situation, you know that there's not enough time to make a play for the other side. So he just hid back, got that kill, and well, look at him now. He's got a strafe run as well. So it's going to be an interesting one to see with this map.
I'm trying to think of what the idea there was of Records. I think he thought a player may have been over towards B. He was trying to make the play there, but when you know the bomb is down, you've given the enemy enough time to get the read and say, okay, now we're setting up for it. You can already get the read there if you're wondering, say, I got the first frag. They're over towards that B site, and they're probably all going to hit themselves together. He was a little bit more towards the mid. We got to make the call. Are they A or B? Well, you go ahead and get the notification, say, look, they are now towards the B side. We need to play for this retake, and it's a 4v3. This is most definitely doable. We need you, Cool Tux. Go on that flank, make a play, and we breach them all at the same time.
Yep, you're going to see Wonders right now, this impact player. He get the first blood, looks for the second, but BPR is going to stop him. So Chief Keef is hanging out towards tickets, and you see there's one player towards the back line. That's going to be Zen, but Chief Keef's going to be moving around. Cool Tux able to find that kill. Records, oh my goodness, takes that automaton, gets into the site, and it's Shadow. Shadow's on the move. He just needs to kill this bomb diffuser for 1 second, and he's going to be able to do it.
Oh my
That's going to win him the round.
It most definitely will. I mean, with only 3 seconds left, you sit there, see on the outside, Chief Keef not playing that aggression. You need to be with your team in that scenario, and it really just cost you the entire round. I mean, with that alone, New Haven, go ahead, come up in this entire map thus far and hit match point, really backing up Brock's 4 in a row to open up this entire map.
They're 5-0 right now in terms of the rounds after the domination that we saw from Brock Bandits. They've not stopped. They've kept their foot on the pedal. And Shadow, he's been that MVP for the side of New Haven. 13-5 on a 3 streak. Still has that strafe run. This is going to be absolutely insane because, well, you have the Bandits on attack, and this is not a comfortable situation for them.
It's most definitely not. I mean, this is where the pressure starts getting put on. You've been sitting comfy all night. You said you had a massive lead when it came around to S&D. Next thing you know, you blink, you make some mess up thing, or saying, where did that lead go? What happened to it? Well, you haven't been doing the same game you've been doing typically. We sat there and saw some lacklusterness. We saw them go ahead, be hesitant, not making the plays that they know they can be making here. So, I mean, as we go ahead and see the first blood go to the side of Chief Keef, that's a good start for them. This is what they need to go ahead and create some relevancy. Have themselves a lead right now, but you have to have trades. You have to set up for those once again because that's what you've been excelling in the entire game. When you see a cross come up and Zed and Carnage both grab a kill as well, you now have 2 players down, and Brock really needs to stand up here knowing that it's a 2v3. Things are still doable, but it's not impossible.
And, well, Cool Tux and Wreckers, they are going to work together. This is a teamwork that we saw in that map 1 and early on in this Search and Destroy. It felt like the confidence had gone out the window, but it's looking like the glimmers of the light are slowly coming back for the side of Brock Bandits. But you see, this time around, they have plenty of time. They make the play for A, and you're going to see BPR. He notices that there's a bit of difference in the air, and, well, he makes his way to the site, and you have Carnage playing towards the back, and these players are still isolated.
Yeah, they most definitely are. I mean, you're going ahead, you're waiting for your teammates. So I do like that call from BPR saying, look, I need Carnage here. We have to trade. We have to make these attempts because if it's a cross like they've done the entirety of this game thus far, we can't funnel into this again. We have to make an exchange. We have to get a read. So you go ahead, look to breach it from 2 doors. If he goes ahead, 1 dies, you can make the exchange there, and you can already see Cool Tux grabbing that first kill, but then going ahead and saying, you know what? I know a player's going to swing with them. I didn't hear the door open. I'm going to aim to the left and find a second one as well. So Brock Bandits bringing it back after 5 rounds. Finally managing another one to take us to that round 11. This is that sweet content we've been looking for.
Oh, yeah, that round 11 map 2 is absolutely going to be a banger. Not only did the Brock Bandits have a midlife crisis in middle of the game, but they're back, baby. It's Spider-Man 2. They've got their powers back. It's not a problem. The confidence seems like it's going to be exuding here. And now you have New Haven on the attack, so if the side of Brock could just play a little methodical, not get too hasty, they can definitely take this one.
They most definitely can. It all comes down to where you see the exchange come out. You see these players trying to go ahead and set up for whatever they can, trying to play it slow and steady, knowing that all the pressure relies on this alone, whether you can go ahead, step up, get that double down, get yourself that second map, or whether or not you're trying to go ahead and restrain New Haven from making a move. Problem is, they got the bomb, and they're already making moves towards B. As you can see, them already set up for this plant. Carnage finds that first kill, so it's a pretty good standing thus far, and Shadow backs it up as well. This is really good exchanges. Problem is, Wonders finds one onto the bomb plant, knows exactly where it is, and said he was taking care of this. We need to set up around it. It's now a 1v2, and the man is in a corner.
And you're going to see Zin being tagged up by Wonders. Carnage is still in the back line, so he won't be able to get the kill with the nade, and it looks as though his AR work was not enough in New Haven. Oh my goodness, they take it in the round 11.
Turning things around on their head. I mean, that alone is what you're looking for, especially out of New Haven if you're one of their fans, saying finally a round, finally one that matters, and a map to back it up. I mean, that is a breath of fresh air if I'd ever seen it whenever you're sitting there considering an entire series. Knowing that we sat there, saw such a massive start at the likes of Brock, and you go ahead and back it up with something like that. You find 4 rounds in a row, and you sit there and see your team go ahead and bounce back, say, look, we're sitting at 9-5 for S&D. Are we really about to lose this? No, you got to sit there and step up. And obviously the player to do it was going to be like the Shadow, always going ahead, holding those streaks, holding those plays, and grabbing those kills with 5 first bloods in the entirety of that map. And then you see Zen backing him up, not really having the first greatest showing, but eventually over time, the guy started growing up. He started maturing a little and finding those kills that really sat there and became a catalyst for this comeback. So, I mean, outstanding effort here across the board. When you see Brock, lots of frags there, every single player doing their job. Problem is, I mean, how much is too much? How much is not enough? Well, we see that kind of differential going ahead and swaying to one side and the other and really setting the tone for Brock to go ahead and lose this one.
Yeah, it just feels a bit of a heartbreaking loss for the side of Brock Bandits because, Yeah, they were up 4-0. I thought we were about to hop into a control right away,
Yeah.
but then New Haven had that tenacity, the spirit of the team, brought it back, and I really was checking them out. I was already ready to go. I said, hey, look, we're already at a 4-0. Brock Bandits, these guys know what they're doing. They had that confidence. And look, we talked about the confidence between that pre-match setup for map 2. The Brock Bandits had that setup. They were ready. But when you have a New Haven taking a round like that in round 5, you know, the confidence went out the window. It looked like it was back in round 10, and in round 11, it went immediately down to the upside of New Haven.
Yeah, and all sorts of that first blood, I feel. Once you get into yourselves in round 11, you're saying, okay, well, great. We found ourselves first blood. This is the only time. It's a 0-0 record. It is an all or nothing. When you lose that first life, almost the life count itself is a score you're paying more attention to. You're saying when you lose that first blood, when you don't grid that, when you get that first death instead, you're saying, oh my God, is this how it all ends? All because one player wants to fall. And you can't throw that blame on anybody. You can't be scratched up about that. You have to still do the same thing. Seeing Brock, how they had themselves so many crosses, so many good setups to just find themselves free frags. We didn't see that same attempt out of them again. We didn't see the exchange. We didn't see the flank over towards the other side of the map. And even then, we didn't see them manipulating the middle enough. They sat there wanting to go for full flanks, take a little bit too much time to really set things up instead of really playing around these windows in the middle of the map, or looking for some kind of an alternate avenue to sit there and play off the middle. We saw them passing through it, not off of it. And honestly, with how many avenues and how big Berlin is, it was looking a little lackluster there towards the end, but honestly, it's good enough on New Haven for getting those reads, saying at least I have one more corner to check. Go ahead, wait a little bit of time. They're not going to get here that fast. Wait for B-bomb to go down. Then I go ahead and make that check then. With this AR stationed up on top of the roof, you know you're going to make those plays. You know you're at least going to get some kind of intel, whether it comes down to a window, a door. Something will be different. And that point of attention, I mean, just that kind of ideology there, that awareness of what's going on is really the big tone setter.
Yeah, it was a big difference. And, well, Map 3 is going to be coming soon. We'll be taking a short break, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. Go refill on your popcorn because it's going to be an exciting night. We'll see you in just a bit. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's an exciting one. We're at Map 3. We're at a true neutral. Brock Bandits won the hard point, and, well, New Haven brought it back in the search and destroy in a round 11 win. And it's been an absolutely mixy night. We don't have any sort of clear winner. Mick, how you feeling about all this?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I sat there and expected, obviously, some momentum to go in the way of one or team or the other, but to know that that's actually been thrown out the window. We don't see a team really standing up. We don't see a super dominant side that we sat there and saw control maybe there earlier in the game, and then we sit there and see it kind of being alleviated, going ahead and being dispersed and kind of diluted there in that second map. Things are getting a heck of a lot more interesting now.
It's going to get very interesting. Let's look at our roadmap for the rest of tonight because it's going to be pretty good because we're switching off of Berlin and we'll be heading to Tuscan for the next 2 maps. Remember, because it's a 1-1, we're guaranteed a game 4. So we'll be having a control in Tuscan, which will be loading up here shortly. Then we will head towards a hard point onto Tuscan. And I know you're excited for that map 5 if we do get to it, that Bocage S&D.
Yeah, I mean, I most definitely am. Probably not because of just knowing it's going to be a map 5 and knowing it's search and destroy because that's my favorite mode, but also the fact that we're going to see a new map. That, I mean, everything's going to be up in the air. We're going to sit there and see ourselves at a tie game. It's almost like the round 11 that we saw in that last map where you sit there and see control, kind of flipping back and forth, back and forth. You're trying to figure out really who's going to have that last jab, who's going to go ahead and finish the thing off. Knowing that Bocage, it's not going to be the kind of the same swing. You're not going for 2 right swings or 2 left. You're going ahead and alternating. You're trying to find some kind of control here, trying to find some kind of a pattern that works for you. And then once you finally think you got it, you sit there and get it completely thrown out the window to say, look, we're now on a different map. You have to sit there and have new setups. You have to have new ways to play on Search and Destroy. You only have one chance to answer it.
Yeah, one chance indeed. And, you know, I'm personally going to be a little bit worried for the side of New Haven because we know how the side of Brock are when it comes to those respawns.
Yeah.
You know, what are you thinking when we hop into this control? You think it's going to be a little bit more mixy or maybe that momentum? I know we did take quite of an extended break, but do you think that may have affected the side of New Haven?
I mean, quite honestly not. I think they sat there, if anything, that was just some time for them to rally, to say, look, good job, guys. I mean, what did we do there? How do we bounce back? I mean, how do we keep this confidence up? Well, just keep on doing what you're doing. we're going into control. We know that Brock aren't nearly as efficient as we are in this mode. And even then, if we go ahead and set the tone here for this map, we have ourselves hardpoint as well. We had a really, really bad time on that hardpoint. We sat there and saw 149 to 250, and Brock was absolutely running away with it. I mean, just like the Bandits that their names say. But I mean, as you go ahead, you charge back into battle, you sit there and find yourself winning that map too, especially in such an impressive and, I mean, last-minute manner, it feels really, really good. So as we already sit there and see a pretty good start here from the likes of Bandits already moving across the map and finding a very weird angle to sit there and get themselves on the B, it's an interesting start nonetheless, but still finding some progress if you don't have Shadow there on the flank and everybody just collapsing on the side.
Yeah, and Shadow gets onto the side, makes it look effortless, gets the 2-piece now. That's going to stop the progression at B. But we hop on over to A. Looks as though it's going to be a 2-man setup for now, but Zin's not going to allow that setup to happen. Records just peeks out, deletes, gets back to his angle. That's great work out of our MVP for the side of Brock Bandits. And right now you're going to see a bit of a contestant. Zin is back, looking to help out his teammate here, but when you get a 3 down, the 4th, it comes easily, but the first stick has been secured for A.
And even then, plenty of time, plenty of space here for the likes of the Chargers. They've gone ahead, shut down the attempts on the B, but when another one now comes back into the fray, sure, you've only let one tick of A go down, but you're not really too worried about that. You know you still have a minute 10 on the clock. You have to shut down this B attempt, and you have plenty of lives to do it. Sure, not as much as previous, as you sat there and went down from 6 to 4 and now make it 3, but I mean, everything really working out here. Chief Keef on this flank could make a lot of plays if he didn't find himself dying so quickly. So already, Chargers go doing it what they did prior. They sat there. They're controlling the map once again. They found the aggression. They found the wipes and the breach. And now they just have to play that defense to back it up on the sides.
And you see right now, BPR comes in from the back, gets one, looks for the second kill, and he immediately finds the second kill. Third one, not going to be able to land into his lap, but Chief Keef fighting to keep this team alive. He's going to get some help from Records. They will be able to get the minute now. So you have a minute 50, 14 to 19 in terms of lives. And, well, we're going to be having a bit of a movement here towards Church. And Carnage and Zen, they'll be holding that back line, making sure that no players get any sort of flank potential. Records, very nicely done, cleans up the Church. And that is going to be a movement towards the radio now.
Yeah, and even then, look at the stance here for the likes of all the Chargers. I mean, looking really, really good thus far, but even better is going to be Brock's kind of approach right now to the side. It's costing them a couple of lives, but knowing that they've already found themselves so much time accumulated, you go ahead and make the exchanges there. Problem is, you got to play for the long game, which we sat there and seen them do such a good job at it thus far. You sit there and you hope that Cool Tuckers can find these kills, which he only manages one. So now sitting at 8 to 12, everybody on Brock has only 2 respawns. Meanwhile, the Chargers, they all have 3, and that's more than enough lives with a minute remaining. Just go ahead, play the game slow and steady, make sure you don't die for absolutely no reason, and you can just play this out and find yourself the kills. And, I mean, even then, you got Chief Keef locked down on the spawn. You sit there and say that nobody's coming on flank anymore. Everybody only has one more life to be dishing out right now. So if you're the Chargers, you're pretty excited about this stance.
Yeah, this is pretty good for the side of New Haven, but right now, you look at the setup, no lives remaining for Brock Bandits. They do have 1 tick left, so this is going to have to be some perfect teamwork. You do see both sides are with a buddy here. It's a bit of a duo battle, but you're going to have none other than Shadow be the man to deal this dagger here if no movement comes. And, well, New Haven have learned from their mistakes, Mick. They don't want to get overzealous.
They most definitely don't, and you can already see it. I mean, they're just trying to play slow. They're trying to look for the setups. If anything, I don't think they're going for the side at all. They want to make sure that this life differential isn't all that large. They're not losing unnecessary lives, and they know that when they come around to defense, if they just play a little bit better, if they have themselves at least 1 less death than the likes of the Chargers to go ahead and stance, find themselves at the 8, they can tie that up. They can find themselves a lead, and even then, doing one better, Chief Keef finding that one last shot, that one last player to sit there and say, once we get to round 3, we want defense. We want to sit there and play for the longer game. Think of the bigger picture. And I love the pacing of that alone. They go ahead, set up for both sides. They get plenty of control. Problem is they just lack a luster in life. So once it gets around to that last attempt. So once again, a great showing from them. I'm loving what the setup. I'm loving what they do. All their ideas are outstanding. The execution's just been a little bit lackluster here recently.
Well, of course, when you think about the current control settings that we have, hopefully in this next content update, we know that the change is coming, that the round 5 will be based off ticks, as it should have been. But hey, I'm not the developers here, but you know, you're going to see immediately the nice little 3-for-1 trade, and well, there goes the 4th, 4-for-1, and you're going to see right here immediately the side of New Haven Chargers. They're the ones to rock on to this A site.
Most definitely, and already found themselves a lot of kind of, I would say, time onto the board. Going ahead, checking for these corners, checking for these flanks. Once again, I mean, you already see you're not doing enough if Chief Keef can already get around to the edge. He sees in, making sure to go ahead and grab that exchange. But, I mean, everybody on the Chargers still going ahead, getting spawned up fairly quickly and just looking for a new approach, looking for a new avenue to play onto the map, knowing that these lives are tied up. You're just playing for time now. I mean, if you're the Brock Bandits, you're obviously trying to go ahead, create some more of it. But if you're Chargers, you're trying to push up. You're trying to find these kills. You can definitely do that towards the A side. As you go ahead and see them double stacking onto it, accumulating a lot of time there, getting themselves 2 ticks now is what they're standing at. Almost hitting that third, and Shadow right there on the edge. I'm going to go ahead and get a couple shots off, but gets traded off as well. Literally like 2 seconds away, and we finally see the Chargers managing it. Only with a minute 56 now with that reset coming out. A life differential, life leave, but we see Cool Tux with a swift double to back that up.
Yeah, this is great to see, but BPR going to be able to react onto that info. Greatly done. Chief Keef looks for the bottom, kill, gets it. Now able to hold the top, no influence coming in through the church. This is what you want. You push these players out towards radio, and well, Chief Keef, he's ready to go. He slides in, jumps on him, gets one. These teammates come in for the help. Cool Tux is able to find Zen, but BPR stays up. Shadow now playing towards the back. You've lost that backline support, and well, the punches aren't going to be too much, and Wonder's coming in lastly to be able to finish off the work that was done.
And even looking at the follow-up here, I mean, this is still a very, very even game. You're looking for one site, control over it. You don't have a huge life differential. You're not down in the dumps if you're the Chargers. You're only down 2 thus far, knowing you have an entire site to be working with, and that clock goes ahead and stalls out when you find everything. The thing is, Carnage is now on the flank, looking for these shots, looking to create that pressure, go ahead and get all that off of his teammates, but just can't follow through to find those kills as you're looking for. So Shadow will go ahead and back him up in church, look for kind of a new avenue to be playing off of, and with the backup of his teammate, trying to push to the right in that church to sit there and get that flank, get these spawns held down, and really play things out as they go ahead and have a somewhat successful attempt at these kills, as they're only down 2 thus far. You still have to find some time on the clock. You have not hit this B site, and quite honestly, with this way they're setting up, they're moving right back into spawn maybe to hold things out, but instead, you're pushing right back into Brock, who's going ahead like Chief Keef, still managing some kills here.
Yeah, very nicely done from Cool Tux to go for the flank there. Nice little body shots from Zen, and Shadow's going to be moving in, and we realize at this point, New Haven Chargers aren't exactly going to be able to make any sort of play towards B, but in terms of ticks, you do have Brock Bandits up, and right now the kills are still going to be for the side of New Haven Chargers. Right now, only a 3-kill differential. That first round was a bit of a, I believe it was 6 kills. So at this point, you know, you have 9-kill differential. You're going to need to really step up in this next round.
You most definitely will. And one thing I was looking at when it came around to that last point, and just kind of looking at the scoreboard, was that we see Chief Keef with 5 tick captures. I mean, alone in this map this far. And this guy, every single time we highlight him and go ahead and look at his perspective, he's never actually on site. He's always in spawns. Like, I mean, go ahead. How are you managing to be around the map that much? I mean, BPR obviously having 6. He's going to go ahead and look for whatever he can. He's going to go ahead and have some control on the side, but that's going ahead and also doubling with that defense. Chief Keef didn't really have all that much defense. He was pushing right through, trying to look for kills, trying to get these spawns. But if you're talking about spawns, you're already down 3 if you're the Chargers.
We're going to see right there, nice 3 down, and well, minute 21. Looks as though the site's going to be secured forward. Now, you have a player like Chief Keef, like you said, that highlight player, just getting the work done. Records watching the flank, and well, the 3-stack, it's going to be beneficial. You now have 2 minutes and 18 seconds to work with, and plenty of lives, 28 to 25. BPR makes the work done in middle, does not allow any players to make the play. Records does notice, gets a tag, but BPR is a much smarter player than that. He will stick back, wait for the overzealous Chow, but does notice the shots, and he's going to go for it. He notices that there's going to be one player moving in, and he stops it immediately.
I mean, the reads here from Brock, it's looking really, really good. Kind of back to their former glory of what we saw when it came around to Hardpoint. I mean, just kind of excelling in these respawn modes. But, I mean, still, you sat there, have all the time in the world. You have all the lives in the world to be playing with. You have almost max lives. You were sitting at 29. How do you diminish that down to a 2-kill differential and find yourself at 24, 22 when you're trying to push onto this B side? This is very difficult to break. You can win it purely off brute force if you have that big of a life difference to be working with. But I mean, it now diminishes down. It goes right back to even. Sitting at 22, you're down now 3 players. You have to push all the way back from spawn, making your job that much harder. When you look at the clock, you only have a minute left.
Yeah, and well, the life differential is going to be a bit of a problem as we head towards that round 5 because there's not been any huge lead from either side except for New Haven, which it was only a 3-kill differential. And you're going to see right here, very nicely done out of Cool Tux. Gets the kill out of the back line. That's going to open up that influence. Hopefully a player can get in through Church now, but you already noticed, while the influence from the back is lost, the influence in the middle towards Radio has begun, and you still have Carnage there making it happen.
Yeah, you got Cool Tux right on site making it happen as well, holding it down all by himself, regardless of whether or not he finds that tick. He finds that second one. He still created that time. He sat there and still stalled the clock. Said, look, if I'm standing on this choker, it doesn't matter what's going on the map. Play your lives, get yourself a lead, let's play for some more pushes, and knowing that we have 44 seconds left on the clock and we're holding it down, Chief Keef is once again going to be on that site, playing that control, pushing for spawns while his teammates are wiping out the Chargers, able to make these plays. And once you're on the Chargers, you're saying, we got to get a site. We have to get back on the site. We have to play this defense. But, I mean, once you go ahead, get blinded by the objective, you sit there and see your lives are getting robbed. You can't push the site, and Brock Bandits win themselves an attacking side.
Yeah, and you really have to shout out Chief Keef here. Not only was his play towards the back line essential, you had Cool Tux who broke the back line, and then he immediately got in from Radio, got the influence, and just stopped these players from getting onto the site. And, well, usually, from what we've seen in Major 1, the strat now is to go for B, then A. But when you still, rock the old classic strategy A to B, hey, when you have a player like Chief Keef running the deference, it's going to be an easier job. And as we hop into this new round now, Brock Bandits are going to open up with a nice opening kill from Records. Carnage here towards Fire. Going to have a bit of a problem towards the top of the church, but, Wonders is a much smarter player than that. He will stick back, but BPR will be able to, once again, make his influence known within the middle of the map.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at how everything is right now for both these squads, they have a really, really good understanding of how this is playing. I don't see any kind of one-sided affairs. We see very even plays in terms of rounds, in terms of lives. It all comes down to that one mistake that really sets the tone for the entirety of the round. And right there was Chargers giving up control around Church, going ahead, not getting the read on the site, still not checking the middle for these spawns, which Chief Keef has just been pushing repetitively. He was sitting at negative on that first round with all those spawns. Now he's going extremely positive, 26 and 16 with 7 objective slots there. I mean, the guy is a problem, and you need to check that. But you finally go ahead and get a little bit of a grasp. You get the life difference the same. You find yourself the entirety of, hey, this is a good stance. You need to play for kills. You need to play for lives. And regardless, whether you lose, you already gave that attacking side. You don't have that luxury anymore. You have to win this, and you need to win it by a pretty darn good margin. At least opt for just lives alone, if anything, just to make sure you can get that third round with that pressure on top of it.
Exactly, and with the kills coming in, Zin, he's going to be able to make the move towards the top platform right here outside. But Cool Tux, he's been playing towards the spawn. He did notice that Zin was there, but he cannot give up this position. This is an essential position to do some damage to the live counter, like you said. BPR, though, looking for the kill right here towards mid, but Records very nicely done. Gets some help from mid, and Zin, he's still alive on a 3 streak, but Records going to be able to stop that one immediately.
Most definitely will, and even then, just the shutdown is huge here for Brock Bandits. Now having a 5 life advantage, working with and going ahead, having all the time in the world for themselves, knowing that clock is ticking down into their favor, saying, look, the smaller this gets, the better it gets for us. Whether or not it's the time, whether or not it's the lives, no matter what, time will take care of itself. Work on these kills, reset them back to their spawn. Records is taking notes and doing exactly that, saying, I find these kills, I make our job easier. But Zen finally has an answer for it, wants to push on the side, wants to go ahead and wrap through the middle of the map and hold out what kind of approach may be in there. But I mean, nobody's on B. There's no reason to pressure on the side if you're Brock Bandits. You don't need to lose these lives. You know, no matter what, you have a lead. You have 46 seconds remaining in the clock. Only one player is stacking side, and Records can be there to find that kill.
Indeed he does, but the tick has yet to be secured for this B site, so no progress will be given, and you're going to immediately see Records hop onto the site, going to deny any progress that has been made. BPR, once again, playing towards the top platform. Looks into the back line. He does notice Records, but Records is immediately going to stop him. Now, this fight towards the back line, Zin, they need to fight for their lives here. It doesn't matter anymore about the kills. It matters about getting the influence back on the site, because if they lose here, it's over. The control will end in a 3-1 for the side of Brock Bandits. But Cool Tux, very nicely done, gets the kill towards mid, stops it going, 10 seconds left. Nobody's going to be able to get onto the site, and, well, when you have a Record still holding it, you adamantly have to give it to the side of Brock Bandits. They win this one 3-1.
An outstanding effort here. I mean, once again, just kind of really showing up here tonight. In the two modes that we expected the Bandits to really go ahead and not do an outstanding amount of damage to the side of New Haven on. I mean, in these respawns, we talked about how good they were. These life-based modes were for the side of old New Haven. This was the one differential that we saw that really could have given themselves that kind of wild card to know that, okay, well, the rounds are kind of the same. The win-loss record, really not that big of a differential there. But when you sit there and look at the kills, when you look at the time on the clock, when you look at the amount of pressure and how well they were constantly keeping that on in the middle of the map by the likes of Brock, you can't sleep on them here. I mean, sure, they're sitting kind of towards the bottom of the barrel when it comes around to the split this far. Going ahead, being second from last right now. But that really doesn't matter when you see how they're performing right now.
Exactly, and you look at the stats right now, New Haven, unfortunately, the only two players really doing a lot for the team was going to be BPR and Zin. BPR was a demon when it came to that middle influence of the map. He was not allowing any players in, but overall, when you have Shadow and Carnage, who usually pop off very well, we saw in that map 2 and even a bit in map 1, but they were not. This is a full team effort now because the side of Brock Bandits, each one of those players, you look at the KD ratios, they're just rocking it. They know how to work together. Chief Keef went crazy, 33 and 20. We saw especially on that round 3, but as we headed towards round 4, well, when you get defense, you know how to hold it.
Yeah, you most definitely do, and that goes ahead and follows kind of up. I mean, look at the likes of Brock now, showing they can win an attacking side on more specifically control, which is a lot harder than hardpoint, knowing you have unlimited respawns. You can play for these flanks all the time. You can play for that and get yourself spawn control on top of it. There is a lot to work with here for them. And now New Haven, they really have their backs up against the wall now, saying this isn't just a time where we can sit there and say we can lose one more map and bounce back, find that momentum. You have to find an answer right here, right now, or this is done. You are going home tonight. You are going to drop in this leaderboard. You are not going to see regionals if you keep playing like this. You need to show that when things get rough, you can bite even harder. You can sit there and fight back worse than what you saw. See some kind of a recurrence, a resurrection like we witnessed there on that map too.
Yeah, this is going to be, it's going to be a bit of a Herculean effort. Let's look at our next map here for the night because we're going to be staying on Tuscan, but we're going to be heading back to Hardpoint. And well, Mick, I don't want to believe in trend lines here, but considering how that Berlin HP went, you know, Brock Bandits are definitely within the favoring side. And especially with the momentum coming in from control, they're sitting very comfortably. New Haven, this is going to have to be their bread and butter, this map, when it comes to Hardpoint.
Almost better be. We got to see something strong out of them right now. And I don't want to go ahead and put them in a tough spot or anything because they've already done that for themselves. I mean, they got to sit there and step up. Their SMGs have to play a lot better. Whether or not you're playing on these ARs, this is Hardpoint. This is a very, very small map. You don't find too many lineups that really set the tone and find these huge crosses. You can manage every single one of those angles with SMGs just as efficiently, if not better, knowing that you can push up as well, knowing that there are so many inside areas right now. The only big deal where we see these ARs spot out is over towards the left side of the map or towards right there in the middle against that window in that church top. I mean, there's a lot of place here for the SMG players, and quite honestly, it all comes down to who's just a little bit stronger, who can be adaptable, who can find that triple SMG setup and have a little bit more practice there to know that your players are going to spawn and also slay to back it up.
The slaying is going to be an essential, and we already know Brock Bandits are those guys when it comes to the slaying. New Haven, while they've been in a bit of more of a reserved position, I feel like the speed of the game is going to be very fast.
I completely agree with you. Knowing this map is a lot closer, the rotations aren't really as lenient as what we saw to Berlin, and knowing that these hills are a lot more different. I mean, it's a real big problem for them. Knowing that they don't have nearly as much space to work with, knowing they had themselves that much more reliance on the site and these spawns, you don't have to run nearly as far, but knowing that you run a little bit closer and you get over antsy and you say, look, I need to just run in. We got to get this time. We got to sit there and play the game. We got to sit there and get on this time. You completely forget about the approach. You completely forget about where your teammates are. You completely forget how to talk as I am right now. You sit there and have to realize that you need to calm down. You have to sit there and calm down and figure out, why are we messing up? How can we go ahead and change something? How can we breach onto this site? How can we do it? And then once you find that flow, once you go ahead and set the ball into the court of Brock to say now they have to take the shot, now they have to change something here, You know you had the lead. Constantly keep adapting to where you are making sure they have to go ahead and adjust and create that delay of time. Create that safety net for yourself, and you find yourself in a comfy 2-2 map set.
Hopefully that 2-2 is going to be in their future. But yeah, New Haven just needs to sit back, talk to each other. At the end of the day, Call of Duty is a team game. There's no way that one player can just will a win. Well, at times it may happen, but those are Herculean efforts at best. And with New Haven, they really are going to need to hit the drawing board for this one, because we saw how well they did on that Tuscan control. Now as we hop into Tuscan hardpoint, we're going to see immediately a nice 3 fight towards this site. But Wonders, very nicely done. Team nades coming in from the side of Brock Bandits. They know that BPR's that middle map demon, and they deny him ASAP.
Some great attempts with the kills and the nades thus far, but even better shots coming out the side of Chargers. Already go ahead and accumulating 12 points on this first site thus far. But once again, Brock saying, look, it doesn't matter all that much. You find yourself at a very strong start, but that's the thing. You gave Brock that first adaptation. You let them go ahead and set the tone. You find yourself going aggressive. That's to be expected on every single hard point. You want to rush up. You want to find these kills. Brock literally wins the entirety of a site when you sit there and get it first and allow them to sit there and say, how can we make the breach and set up for next to know what they're probably going to do? You need to sit there and play for retakes and sit there and do the same thing they are where they get caught off guard.
Yeah, and right now when you look at Wonders, he's going to be the one man holding this line in the back, and well, Pooltuck's going to be able to get onto the site. You do notice that Carnage is still alive. Tux was able to help that kill onto BPR. Wonders unfortunately stopped shooting, and well, you're gonna have a bit of some help from the nade of Cool Tux. Shadow just trying to get onto the site, immediately shoots the floor. That's a 4-for-1 trade. Wonders still doing big plays in the back, and with no influence coming in to flip them, it's looking like it's about to happen, as this looks like a tsunami about to hop into this site.
And even then, no cross is set up for the likes of Brock Bandits. As far as you see, nobody coming around, but there it is. Wonders finally going ahead, creating himself some relevancy in the fight. As Chief Keef being very relevant as well, finding a 3K, completely wiping out that site, giving the likes of Brock Bandit to go ahead and step up and say, look, we go ahead and get some more time here. There's 15 seconds left. This isn't scrap time, baby. This is a pretty good chunk to go ahead and set things up for the next one. And finally, when you get around to that 10 threshold, you can say, all right, now we got to sit there and think about stuff. We grab that last 5. We set up for spawn, set up for this next site, because this next site, P3, being right on the edge of the map, this is a money hill, and we want to cash out.
Yeah, we're going to be having a bit of parallel spawns here, as the players from Brock Bandits will be spawning closer towards P5. And, well, they open up that left lane now, and now you're going to get the close spawns. This is a blessing and a half. Zin, he's going to notice that Wonders is in the back, and, well, Wonders no longer that reserved player. He's going off 6-3, 7-3 now. He's doing great work with his AR.
I love the adjustments that have been being made by a lot of teams. We haven't seen too many players go ahead and stay in the back right there, what we saw prior. A lot of teams want to play around the fountain and say, look, let's go ahead and get ourselves on this fountain, accumulate this time, play in the building in the back. But when you finally sit there and say, look, how do we get spawns? Well, you literally spawn on the map, but right there, you go ahead and get capped off as well. Looks like even exchanges of points, but problem is the Chargers are picking up more time onto that clock as well. So now, only getting in about 25-point differential thus far. Not too big of a difference right now. Still most definitely doable for either side of the other, but you sit there and have to step up in the slaying department because the Chargers need to step it up there specifically.
Did you not? Records just immediately turned onto BPR there.
Yeah.
Gets the kill. Now immediately hops into the site. Notices there's a third player up there. Gives the information. Notices, hey, he's not going to chow me up here. He's going down below, but Wonders activates on that info. And it's just been absolutely insane. Chief Keef and Cool Tux, they're doing a lot of work. These guys, both 10 kills each. Well, the hills are a bit more to hope for, but hey, Brock Bandits are still up.
They most definitely are. I mean, going ahead, holding down this time, you see the Chargers are now going ahead and getting some of their own, but you got to sit there and think about the trade-offs. I mean, you're finding these kills. You're going ahead and doing a lot of work, and you're honestly taking some pretty good sacrifices here, saying, look, let's not get overzealous. Let's not sacrifice our life and our spawns, all of our advantage just to get ourselves one kill. Play it slow, play it steady, and if your records are saying, I can do both, I can find kills, find time, do it all right now, and by the time they finally slay me off, there's only going to be 5 seconds, so go ahead, set up for next. If you're Chief Keef, you're saying, all right, you got a Chief, find a kill, look upstairs, you grab yourself a second, and you say, look, I got it under control out here.
The movement was absolutely correct. He almost got BPR, but you know, when you're one man and your team isn't there yet, they will lose that rotation, unfortunately, after that great effort from Chief Keef. Shadow hanging out towards the site, and, well, Cool Tux is not going to allow any sort of lurking. Carnage now hanging out towards the stairs, and Wonders, unfortunately, fortunately gets that kill. Looks like he was about to get shot down, but BPR stays up. He's hoping that his teammates come in, but oh no! Wonders, unfortunately, teammates and stops the push.
Just huge there for the likes of the Chargers to manipulate. Go ahead, you sit there and say, well, I mean, a team that doesn't make very many mistakes, they made a mistake. Let's get ourselves on site. Let's see what we can do here. Let's set up for next, knowing there's only 11 seconds right now, and get ourselves right back onto that P1 where we excelled so many times and at least grab the aggression towards that site. Problem is, Brock, once again, are already set up for it, saying, look, it's only about a 10-point differential. We don't have to throw too much out the window to get ourselves some advantage onto the side. We can make these plays. We can get these kills. That's what we've been doing for so long, so consistently now. You have to back it up. You have to read Zen, who's coming to the middle of the map. And if you're already there on the edge, you're not doing it. Wonders didn't get the call. He didn't get to play. And right there, you see up towards the top, neither is Rookers.
Zen just making these plays, making it look like it's easy. You're going to see P1 into effect here. Zen, once again, still trying to make these plays on top, but he's not going to be able to do it when Cheap Keef slides it to him. Carnage now knows the info, gets the kill, stops the players from making the move, and, well, New Haven, this has been great break from them. They've been having the majority of this P1. Now Carnage does notice, hey, more players towards the top church. Everybody, make the way towards the back, and that's Shadow acting on that info.
It's absolutely massive. I mean, the Chargers have finally stepped up. They're finally coming to life. They're saying, look, we can't be doing this. They had themselves a lead. We go ahead. We have one opportunity. They teammated. That is 3 players down. We could take a second, at least a second of breathing room to sit there and slow down and figure out what to do here. But the thing is, you have to be ready for the Prowler. You have to sit there and watch these spawns. You have to sit there and keep your eyes on Wonders, who's now going to be coming from the back, now actually popping off in a hard point, which we missed in that first map. As you see the rest of the team going ahead, picking up this time, staying on the hill. Wrecker's going to be pushing for some control towards that spawn, but can't exactly find it. You have your teammates to back you up. You have the player on the edge of the map. Knowing there's only 33 seconds left, you're not too stressed for time. You play it. You go ahead. Calm down. Get some breathing room here. Get yourself on that site. Get some corner shots out as well, but with no teammates to back you up, you know they're flooding in. You know they're going to find one last push, and if they lose it, you go next.
Exactly. Well, right now, BPR, very nicely done. Stops the points from the site. Gets the second player from Wonders, and, well, they are going to be able to grab the rest of this scrap, and 170 to 136 will be our score as we head in to this next hill. Wonders hanging out towards the back, towards the lilies, and he does notice that there is a player coming in from P1 lane. It's going to be Carnage, but he's not going to be able to get him just yet, and, well, he's in a bit of a pinch situation. One player moving in from the back. That's BPR, but BPR hasn't been found out by anyone, so his influence is going to be immediately felt.
And where's the comms here? Where's the exchange? Well, there it is.
Exactly.
Wonders right there on the call, able to go ahead and make it, grab that time, knowing that this is going to be a huge money hill for him to go ahead and switch things up, and knowing they already had the spawn. Keep in mind there on that P2, that was a 3v4. The entire time, Records, once he died that first time, said, I'm going to hang back. I'm not going to overstress this thing. I know I'm not slaying out. I'm going to go ahead, kick it up in the time department, see what I can manage here, and get ourselves some spawns as well. You guys do your thing. We're holding out this time. We're tying up this game. It's now only 4 points of the difference right now. Sure, hey, the Chargers credit themselves a little bit more, but, I mean, at the final optimal time to go ahead and say, now we can set up for P4, it's another money hill too. So we get the most of the time here. We got ourselves an easy lead.
And unfortunately, Cooltux just does not look at his corners. He's going to get shot down by Zen. Zen, fortunately, gets taken out by none other than Wonders. And, well, like you said, they were able to get a bit of that scrap time to put themselves ahead. You look at the shots coming in from top church. BPR gets it done. Gets the shots in the back. That's a 3 down. 1 player left. It's Cooltux. He's going to get flanked down. And, well, now New Haven. They're still on the site. They're making it happen, but players will be spawning close towards P1. It's a 4-for-1 trade, and New Haven, they stay on.
They most definitely do. I mean, not only do they stay on the side, they stay on the board as well in terms of these kills. I mean, you can just see it is blue, red, left to right. I mean, they are looking so good as BPR also set up there in the top of the church, can sit there and just rain hellfire on everybody in Brock there towards the middle of the map. Finally, you get a raid, you finally get a play, and then Brock is making some kind of an exchange to come out. They sit there and say, we lost the majority of this money hill. You have to cut your losses. You have to go next. Sure, you give the next 10 seconds to the Chargers. They still need half the sight for this. If you play this game a lot better, you step up and figure out what's going wrong, and you're set up like Wonders is, you're not too concerned about the future state of the game.
And it's going to be on the side, and he gets the job done, but Cooltux stays up. He notices that the players are trying to move towards him. Unfortunately, Carnage will get him, so now you're going to have New Haven once again winning this break, and, well, you're going to see Brock Bandits spawn up close. The blessing of the spawn Nice shots. That's a 3 for 1. And, well, Zin's going to be rocking into a bunch of explosions. There's so much shell shock going on around him. 216 to 181. And, well, Brock Bandits can't give up anything. Records now holds the mid, taking up the role that BPR did to help them on that last site.
And look at Records right there in the middle. You can see that mini-map. The guy is lighting up. He is sitting there finding all these necessary kills to go ahead and cut off the middle of the map to say, look, you guys are doing great over towards that P5. Keep doing that. I am in the middle of the map. I'm moving towards P1. We have now essentially tied up this game. It is 204 to 220 something, whatever it maxes out to. And we can grab this final hill, the entirety of it, set up for the end of this game. Let them overcommit to the side of P5. This is on the completely opposing side of the map. We can close it out right here, right now, especially when you find yourself in a 4K.
Exactly, and Records, he's still going. Gets the 5 streak. Now, you're going to have the site 4 now. It's a clear line, but he's going to get tagged up. 24 HP left. Remember, the TTK is not your friend in this game. 42 seconds left, and it's going to come down to this hill. Chief Keef, he's got the sub, ready to make it happen, and there you go. The kill's coming in.
And there it is, also a kill streak to work off of as well. That's exactly what Records wanted. Said, we only have 30 seconds remaining. We can make the switch up. We grab the majority this time. Throw that Joker down. Give us that coverage. Give us that glide bomb. Give us the intel. And let's find ourselves this map 3 to end things out. But still, you only need 15 seconds left. You have the hold. This is a final push right here for the Chargers. The Bandits have gone ahead and made this so much closer and winnable.
Yes, and you're going to see the last push coming in from New Haven. They're going to try their best, and, well, they break the hill, and you're going to have to get this rotation, and none other than the man himself, the OBJ player. It's Wonders. Wonders is in the sight. He's not letting them go. He's going to make it happen, and they do it. They get the 250, and not only that, he gets the final player from trying to get in. The Brock Bandits will take this series 3-1, 250 to 229 in this hard point.
Huge exchanges, huge pressure, everything coming out for Brock at this hard point has looked out freaking standing here tonight. And you can even see it on the scoreboard. Records with a 7 streak every single time the man has been holding down the site. Even when he wasn't, he knew it was in a very contested spot where they're going to be making a play. They're going to say, look, either I go to the middle of the map, they're going to be going for P1 and setting up for next, I find kills there. Or they go for a flank and they try to go ahead and get behind us, go ahead and get that P5 pressure. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm in the middle of the map. I'm there. I'm killing. And everybody else doing their job so freaking perfectly. Chief Keef constantly on site, constantly playing out his life, constantly at least exchanging whatever kills he finds, saying, I can die. If I got mine, I got mine. You sit there and see the non-traded kills from every single one of them, and it's looking so darn good. Sure, Cool Tux, 21 and 31. We don't have to talk about that because the man still made himself relevant. A minute 36 on the clock, and everybody else backing him up, at least showing that they are doubling on these sites. It shows that Brock has sat there and made these adjustments. In just the course of 1 week against a team that has almost double the hardpoint wins, they can stand up and really just fight every single time.
It was an absolutely great effort from the side of the New Haven Chargers. They were doing great. They were getting these breaks. They were making it happen, but when you have a player like Wonders, I got to give the love, man. I got to give the love. He was there. He was ready to go. He was on that action. P2 was his. And when you have such a close game like that, every sense of positioning matters. And so that's why Records' play towards bottom pillar on that P1 was great. He got full streaks, made it happen, and that's why you had that 250 to 229 win. Brock Bandits, let's look at these maps because it was a great roadmap tonight, Mick.
It most definitely was. When you could sit there and see just obviously, sure it was 3-1 in the series, but I mean, we sat there and got to see something very, very exciting. We saw a team grow up. We saw a team hit puberty tonight. They sat there, came in as youngins, sat there, said, sure, we are not really the best here in the game, but we're sit there still are a competitor to some extent. But now they sit there and said, we are men. We are here to fight. We have ourselves a chest here to go ahead and rip off the shirt and say we are here to brawl. We can fight till the very end. We can find ourselves at 3 map, and we can go ahead and beat guys in their own game. Because we mentioned it prior that, I mean, New Haven Chargers, they had an outstanding hardpoint. They had an outstanding S&D. And we were probably thinking that, oh, Brock, let's hope you can find yourself something. Oh, they found something all right. They found themselves a huge lead in that first hardpoint, which really caught us off guard. Control one attacking side, and then sat there and said, we have switched over the lead at least 3 times in this one map alone. With something like this, knowing how we won that first map, we better win this.
Exactly. And so Brock Bandits, they are your winners tonight, ladies and gentlemen. They had a great showing tonight.
Yeah.
And it was great to see from start to finish. We're going to be going into a break. We've got the second match coming up tonight. It's going to be none other than the Utica Pioneers versus Windsor Gold. And me and Mick will be staying here to bring you that action. So if you enjoyed that hype and the energy and the close calls and the gameplay, well, you better stick around because we'll be here very soon.